What is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop of sun any chance I get, and I am excited to be giving you this special upload. Since we've now completed the first half of 2026, I thought I should give you a special mid-year treat. For the next few days, I'm going to be delivering you my list videos for the best and worst hit songs of 2025. Normally, I record these lists with my buddies Roadrunner, Night Browser, and Fanstar and the Billboard Road Crew channel, but we've had a lot of other plans pop up and we never exactly got around to doing that. So I'm going to be giving you my own solo videos because I still have yet to reveal my full-length lists. And it appears that 2025 has given me quite a lot to discuss. It's fair to say that 2025 wasn't necessarily an exciting year for the charts or pop music in general, but I think that was kind of expected. 2024 was such an extravagant year for music that we were bound to reach a cool down period after it ended. I like to think of 2025 as the morning after the party. That's very emblematic when you realize that a lot of 2025's biggest hits were holdovers from the previous year. But there were still plenty of gems to find in the year, and a lot of duds as well. Enough that I could make these entire lists. And before we get to the positives, we have to discuss the negatives, and I got some choice words to write about these. Before we get started though, I want to remind everyone to leave a like for this video if you enjoy what I have to offer, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. So get out a nice bowl of Moonbeam ice cream, because we are counting down the top 10 worst hit songs of 2025. Before we get on to the list proper, I want to take the time to give you my dishonorable mentions. Songs that just barely missed out on the list, but still deserve to be called out. We're starting off with What Did I Miss by Drake. This song is just Drake trying to cope with how badly he was humiliated in the feud. He attempts to put on this whole unbothered attitude, but the mere act of him putting out this track shows that it bothered him a lot, if anything. Drake claims that he doesn't care if people like him, but then calls the fans who turned against him traitors and complains how listeners switched up on him to support a hater. I can definitely see him crying behind the mask. I will give the song credit for a decent beat change, but it doesn't do enough to make Drake's pity party more salvageable. Next up, we have Loco by Netin Vega. I'm sure people have vibed out to this song at parties, but I just find it so lousy. The sound irks me with its high-pitched melodies as if we're on a broken merry-go-round. Netin Vega has such a lackadaisical delivery, almost like the drugs are hitting him too hard. He also has a random line about not having a good relationship with his mother-in-law, which leaves me wondering what his thought process was while writing these lyrics. Netin can improve his music in time, but Loco is not exactly a gem. I can say with confidence that this is my least favorite Latin song of the year. And finally, we have What I Want by Morgan Wallen featuring Tate McRae. This would be seen as another bland Morgan Wallen heartbreak song if it wasn't for Tate McRae signing her name on it. Recruiting her for this track was terribly misguided because A, her style doesn't fit the sound of country trap pop, and B, we're supposed to believe that a 22-year-old girl is interested in having a one-night stand with a 32-year-old man. Don't be surprised if she and Jesse Murph have the same manager. I don't think Tate's career is circling the drain like so many people claim. However, maybe she should try to avoid the right-wing influence of Alberta. Okay, we got the dishonorable mentions out of the way, and now we can move on to the actual list. Let's go. Number 10. Shake It to the Max Fly by Molly, Silent Addy, Skillabang, and Shensia. Perhaps I should start the list with a contentious entry. Now, I should say up front that I most certainly don't hate dancehall music. It can be a real delight whenever you're playing it at parties. Even when exploring some of Molly's other releases, I find some real enjoyment in them. I especially vibe with Body Go, her single with Tyla, but my ears can't take Shake It to the Max. My main issue with this song is that it's just annoying. I can't stomach the production that sounds like a scrapped DJ Snake cut. Not Silent Addy's best work. The part that irks me the most, though, is Skillabang's verse. Aside from repeating Bad Man way too much, I can't get past how he writes the lyrics like some cheesy X-rated movie. He overuses the word pussy to the point where he sounds like an amateur gynecologist. If there's anyone who makes the track worthwhile, it would have to be Shensia. I like the charisma and confidence she can display in her lines. Molly herself can even give a good performance. It's just bogged down by so many other elements. Again, if people are having fun with Shake It to the Max, more power to them. But if Afrofusion is going to become more popular in the US, I'm really hoping I enjoy it more than this. Number 9. Type Up by Glorilla. Now this is really gonna earn me the stink eye. Glorilla has been such a welcoming presence within the hip-hop landscape. You may recall last year when I featured Wannabe in my honorable mentions. I still remember how painful it was to leave it right outside of my top 10. So don't think I have any disdain for the Memphis MC. Typa is just not my jam. Her flow on this song isn't necessarily bad. The fortitude Glorilla brings always has a certain charm that can get your dopamine levels high. I place the fault mostly on the beats. The track samples Keisha Cole's Love, and clearly they're trying to interpolate the original song's romantic meaning, but there's something about hearing Keisha's voice mixed to sound more low-pitched that takes me out of the mood. Plus, it's supposed to have this country twang to it, where the strings vibrate, and I don't think it matches Glow's flow whatsoever. The lyrics describe what she finds charming in a boyfriend, which is fine enough, but the song is confused by how to set the right tone. I don't feel entranced by the romance. I'm just awkwardly standing in the corner, wondering where this is meant to go. Glorilla can produce some mean bangers, yet I can't really give Typa my approval. Number 8. No Pole by Don Toliver. It's actually very impressive how this track only peaked at number 66 on the Hot 100 and still just barely made the year-end list. Although I'm not sure I'm exactly thrilled about that. No Pole tells the story of a stripper who decides to leave erotic dancing behind after developing a close relationship with our lead singer. A lot of Don Toliver's music can be trippy and feel like I'm seeing colors, but I don't think the production matches what he's going for. Whenever I listen to the beat, I'm reminded of all the parties where the music is turned up way too high and the people are shouting at each other, and I'm just aching to find a quiet spot. A premise like this should have a more soothing feel to it. We should be hearing sounds that illustrate the luxury that Don Toliver is showering this woman in, not the drugs that he's filling up in his system. Maybe the idea was to capture the atmosphere of a strip club, but that just detracts from the sentimental value. I appreciate Don trying to write a version of Honora where the rich son is actually nice to sex workers, but No Pole just has some wonky execution. Perhaps there will be a better night for me to visit the club. Number 7. Worst Way by Riley Green. At last, I stumble across a familiar face. It appears that Riley Green is enduring my ridicule once more. The last time I spoke about him was when I bagged on You Look Like You Love Me, a song he did with Ella Langley. I know Ella experienced a pretty triumphant 2025 and is experiencing a triumphant 2026, but I guess her buddy Riley might need some retooling when it comes to his singles. Worst Way is written as a sex jam, where Riley Green promises his wife to have the filthiest lovemaking session of their lives. Well, I can say that this might be just the most vanilla type of sound I've ever heard in a country song. He paints a picture where he bursts right into the house and begins getting rough with his partner. He just constructs the song as this slow, meandering ballad that doesn't elicit any steamy emotions. I'm just baffled that this is his idea of an intimate sound. At best, it'll earn you an innocent crooning dance that ends in junior prom level kissing. It doesn't help that Riley includes some of the most laughable lines possible, like tasting whiskey off his baby's lips and putting away anything that'll break, and the angel is about to slip off her wings. How is this supposed to get anyone in a sexy mood? Maybe I need to look more into Riley Green's discography, but Worst Way doesn't make me excited to accomplish that task. Number 6. Actually Romantic by Taylor Swift. From the looks of it, most people agreed that The Life of a Showgirl was a huge misfire from Taylor Swift. I decided I only want to include one song from her on the list because there are only so many negative words about Taylor I can type before the stands take aim at my throat. But trust me, I had tons of options at my disposal. Ultimately, I landed on the song that probably represents one of the album's biggest flaws, and that was Actually Romantic. Apparently, Taylor wrote this limp rock composition as a diss track against Charli XCX because she supposedly heard her talking smack. As I argued in my album review, this song won't make a lot of sense to you if you're not paying close attention to celebrity gossip. But even when you look at the details of why Taylor has it out for the British musician, it becomes so worthy of eye rolls. She merely recorded a song about feeling envious of another girl and how that could be destroying her. And somehow she took it as a personal attack? You literally have a song on the same album about how the public is so quick to cancel female celebrities over the most frivolous reasons, yet you're here trying to turn listeners against Charlie because she insulted you a little. I don't know what it's like to be a female entertainer in music, but if you're all about women needing to stick together, maybe don't drag down other girls like it's some high school drama. Number 5. I'm a Little Crazy by Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen has really become a free space on my yearly worst list, hasn't he? I spent a good while thinking about which song of his to include this time. I'm the Problem looked like it could win that bid. He uses the runtime to claim that his girlfriend was a bad influence on him and led him to acting erratically. But in the end, I went with I'm a Little Crazy. What gets under my skin about this cheaply produced track is how Morgan sings about how the world is extremely dangerous, and while he might go off the rails sometimes, people better watch for the true monsters out there. Seems like a cheap way to direct the conversation towards other people, huh? He mentions that he keeps a gun with him at night in case the Jeepers and Creepers come for him, which I find very hard to believe. First off, how are they gonna burst into your mansion and get past the security system before they even find their way to your room? Second, who are these Jeepers and Creepers you're afraid of, Morgan? Care to be specific? He doesn't even describe how the world is insane, aside from briefly mentioning child snatchers, which just seems very manipulative. Hardy worked as a songwriter, so it's no wonder why the tune is lousy at addressing real-world issues. I'm a Little Crazy is just a weak attempt for Morgan to humanize himself after enduring several controversies that he ignited himself. Maybe stay away from the shine, and this so-called field of wolves will leave you alone. Number 4. It Depends by Chris Brown featuring Bryson Tiller. It's honestly bonkers that people are still trying to forgive Chris Brown, even today. The guy hasn't even done a good job at improving himself from his misdeeds. He's literally scheduled for an assault trial in the UK later this year. And now he's looking at another single on the charts with It Depends. This song has a special repugnance to it because it shows Chris trying to sound romantic with his girlfriend. Yeah, because Chris Brown has totally proven himself to be gentle around women. We also have Bryson Tiller lending his vocals, which kind of baffled me because he and Chris sound so identical I lost track of where his verse even began. But the moment that pissed me off the most is when he sings Passenger Princess Hop In. This man has the absolute fucking nerve to write a line like that after the crimes he committed against Rihanna. When you read about what exactly he did to her and where, it just makes these lyrics atrocious. He really thinks people will just forget about those details. I haven't even commented on the beat. They try to establish some kind of mood with drowning melodies and a stomping beat that becomes obnoxious after like 30 seconds. Of course, there's also the shaky Usher sample, which just sounds very awkward and silly. It Depends is sloppy and unethical, and it leaves me waiting for October to roll around the corner. Number 3. Mystical Magical by Benson Boone. Let me start off by saying I'm not really happy about this. I've been way more defensive of Benson Boone than most people in the music community. He can deliver some great covers, like his rendition of When We Were Young. Even his own stuff has been fun to listen to. Like, when I'm driving down the highway and they play Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else, I crank the volume for that outro, and it's a blast every time. But man, I cannot stand Mystical Magical. The tune tries to have this sound of whimsy using jumpy synths and high-pitched pianos, but it comes across as embarrassingly cheesy. Hearing it in dozens of Target ads throughout the holidays didn't help either. It also has a cringy message of him trying to impress a girl who keeps rejecting him, and how he's not giving up on winning her over, insisting she'll realize how wonderful his love is once they're together. Benny, come here. I'm gonna use your generation's language to get through to you. This is not the Riz you think it is. There are plenty of other women who would dig the jumpsuit, so maybe just leave her be. Mystical Magical was probably the song that just got worse for me as the year progressed, and I am begging my backflipping megastar to avoid this kind of sound moving forward. Number 2. Blue Strips by Jesse Murph. Oh Jesse, what are we going to do with you? I've said that I want Jessie Murph to strengthen her music as her career continues, but the way Blue Strips is constructed makes my hope for that dwindle. I already had a bad reaction when she opens the song by repeating "Boy, I ain't mad at you," as if it's meant to be some catchphrase she's trying to popularize. But the putrid sound ramps up as soon as the trap beat kicks in. Jessie Murph is trying exceedingly to create a sound of country hip-hop that she's really not capable of pulling off. In fact, in a way, I almost see it as cultural appropriation even. The lyrics are just her posturing towards a boyfriend she's grown to dislike, going to the strip club, lighting up cigarettes, and moving into a new mansion. Whenever I hear Jessie sing these lines, it comes off as someone trying to be more hardcore and badass than they really are. I also wince at the way she sings "Business," like, oh god. Now, I don't want to give up on the Tennessee star completely. I just think Jessie Murph needs a good industry mentor, someone who can provide her real wisdom on how to improve her sound. And again, let her work with someone who's in their 20s. We need to get her away from songs like Blue Strips. Like, please make that a priority. And finally, number 1. Your Way's Better by Forrest Frank. This song is topping my list because it's the one that disappoints me the most. Forrest Frank was one half of Surfaces, and they had a genuinely good output. I agree with Sean Faye Wolf that their discography goes way deeper than Sunday Best. But seeing Forrest take this route in his craft is a huge letdown. Your Way's Better shows the artist feeling down and alone, but when he looks up to Jesus, he finds his mood getting better. I already rolled my eyes at the song's meaning, but we're then hit with a corny trap beat, worse than the one on Blue Strips, not to mention the cheap-sounding pianos and the unnecessary key change. The song is very Bible camp-coded with its bubblegum can-do attitude. It's like that scene in Glee where the regionals choir tries sucking up to the nun by singing about how much they love Jesus. Your Way's Better is deserving of this spot because, more than anything, it represents a disturbing path some artists have been willing to take. A lot of Christian aesthetics have become intertwined with authoritarianism, and it's a niche singers like Forrest Frank have decided to sell out to. Obviously, I don't think being a Christian automatically makes you suck up to autocrats, but it's hard not to apply that to Forrest when he makes a video showing Charlie Kirk praising his music, honoring him as a good man, and telling his followers to kneel before Jesus when he comes back. I put the song at number 1 because it's the embodiment of a trend that's been polluting the music industry. One that I hope many artists choose to resist. Your Way's Better by Forrest Frank is my pick for the number 1 worst hit song of 2025. And there you have it, my top 10 worst hit songs of 2025. To be frank, I normally don't feel comfortable being this negative on songs, but I just really had to let out that steam, Maybe there's a small likelihood one of these artists will watch my content and maybe take some pointers, but I can't see that happening. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what I have to offer in this list, and I would love to hear your picks for the worst hit songs of 2025. Be sure to leave it down in the comments so that I can read it. But we should be pretty much wrapped up here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this very short year-end list video. I had fun with it, I hope you did as well. Next week we should be getting to the positives, the best hit songs of the year. I'm really looking forward to recording that because I had just as many good thoughts to write about that as I did for this. But in the meantime, if you guys want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Blue Sky, my Twitch, and my TikTok. Links will be in the description. And one last time, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. And that's where we are wrapping up today. My name is Gabriel Jones in the Sun Baby setting, but I hope you were able to soak up those drops. Take care.